Now, the title of the book, Dying for Dummies, was not my idea. This was God's idea. He told me a few years ago I needed to write a book and call it Dying for Dummies. And at the same time, I've had this inner voice, myself, say, no, you gotta make a documentary. You gotta film. That seems to be where I excel the most, not writing a book. My inner voice told me that you need to improve on your communication skills and try to wrap your mind around the mindset of others. So I tried my best to try and create some form of a documentary. I was in contact with some producers, and nobody really wants to fund this idea. Anybody that has money right now doesn't seem to really want this type of documentary out. So listening to my voice and my full potential self says, do it free on YouTube. Which, for the past year, that's what I've been doing. And did it from a form of a diary. Because what it appears to be, all of humanity has lost their minds. We all seem to be insane. We all seem to be living to die, not living to live. And the people that seem to be dying the most are these elites. You have a very, very short lifespan. And I do see that a lot of very wealthy people donate to a lot of nonprofit organizations, generally in the area of healthcare. And you only donate to organizations that help you cure the diseases that you're dying from. Now take a look at our planet. Take a look at Japan. This is only a very, very early stages of our planet's destruction. Those that are on the top, those that have power, those that don't want information out, you're killing yourselves. You breathe this air. You swim in these oceans. You eat the fish out of the ocean. You eat the plants that grow, that are poisonous now. Every way that you survive your life is killing you, and you can't see that yet. If you're dying today, you're kind of a dummy. And then I see some of the brilliant solutions that a lot of very wealthy people are going to go underground and wait till everything sort of settles down a bit. Kill off the planet, and then you think that you're going to come up when everything calms down. But you aren't quite realizing that you're putting yourself in a tomb. You're burying yourself in your own jail cell. Yeah, you can stay there for a couple of years, keep yourself entertained, get yourself enough food. You can have everything life has to offer underground. But what you don't realize is losers always win. Those at the bottom, us little people, we tend to get really, really smart with every challenge that we face because we have to be problem solvers. The more those at the top create problems for those on the bottom have to figure out a way of solving that problem. So we generally get really, really smart. And that's seen with hackers. That as soon as a system is designed, there's always somebody there to hack it. It's also seen with lawyers. As soon as we make a law, lawyers seem to think all laws need to be broken. They find that loophole. They find a way to hack the system that we create and So those that are at the top and think going underground is the solution, do you realize that those on the top are the smartest people on the friggin' planet? We've been solving problems for a hell of a long time. It's kind of, if you go underground, we can make sure you never come out. We have a whole planet to make sure that you can't come out. We can seal you in there that after your 2 years, there's no way of opening that door because we'll make sure that door always stays shut. So I don't really think that going underground is going to be your solution. Because the destruction on this planet, we do know how to overcome it. It doesn't have to kill us. It will only kill those that are going to be in fear. Fear and stress is what's going to end up killing all of us. But those of us that actually see a better way, have used some of these tools to actually solve problems, there is no pollution. There is no universal event that we can't survive from. We know how to survive. We've gone through this cycle before. And yes, maybe in the past, those at the bottom didn't really survive all that well, and the cycle got repeated. But human evolution means we get smarter the next time around. So the next time around, it ain't going to be those at the top that survive. It's going to be those at the bottom. But those at the bottom do need to realize how to solve problems. And thankfully, this information is available. The best problem-solving tools have now unfolded. We just need to share that information. So as I write this book for those at the top, and the fact that I am so against profit and I don't want to be a sellout, this book is being written and available free on YouTube. So all of those on the bottom get to see this information free and can learn some of the best tools on the planet to learn how to solve problems. So it's kind of a little wise for those at the top to have the same tools that those on the bottom are going to be using to solve these universal problems that are coming. So going underground is not exactly your best option. Going out into outer space is never worked. That's like running away from your problems. You have to learn the micro world and the macro world. Again, those at the bottom are going to have so many problem-solving tools that you need to learn that. And the first objective is knowing how to live. It is a wild, wild, wild story, but you're basically living your life so that you die. And the goal of humanity, our evolution, means we need to learn how to live to actually live and not die. There is evil on the planet. Those that have an awful lot of money, those at the top would be the evil. Those at the bottom, they are generally people that love to serve. And we've been trapped into serving those at the top. But we haven't been serving ourselves. We haven't been serving each other. And this is the lesson that those on the bottom are about to learn, is how to serve ourselves and not so much serve you. We need to be serving ourselves so that we live. And we're about to learn that. It's a wild, wild, wild story. In order for you to understand these problem-solving tools, the best way that I can do that is for you to see what my experiences were, how I lived my life, the influences that I had, and the solutions that came. It's a wild, wild story, but you have to understand my story. Because if you understand my story, you can understand your story. when you see how I interacted with the influences in my life, then you'll be able to put the pieces of the puzzle and see what influenced your life. Evil is not really a bad thing. Evil is just as good as God. Satan is just as good as God. I happen to believe they're both the same. They both appear to be left brain, right brain type experiences. I'll get more into that in other chapters. But it's more like our human brain is now about to merge. Good and evil are about to merge. There's very little of the human brain that we actually use. But I believe we're about that merging of both left brain, good and evil, coming together, is where our fullest potential of humanity is going to be. We're about to transform into something completely different. So if those at the top really want to know how to fit within this evolution, this might be interesting information. Right now, if you're dying, you're kind of a dummy. If you want to get smart, then you'll be living, not dying. You'll find how to survive the future. You really, really learn the meaning of problem solving. You are the influence for change, but you need to change your own life. If you want to live and live your best life, you actually have to know how that's done. You have an awful lot of stuff, but every stuff that you have, the more stuff that you have, every dollar that you have, is an equation of how much love you're lacking in your life. You don't happen to love yourself, and you don't know that. You don't know what the meaning of love is. You think love will be that big house. Love will be that fancy car. Love will be those fancy clothes. But you're not going to have any of that. Everything's about to collapse. And without those people serving you, if you kill every one of the little people off, who's going to build that house? Who's going to build that car? Who's going to make the fancy clothes? You're killing off the hand that feeds you, and you don't realize that. So your lifespan's going to get really, really short. If you go underground, 2 years to be exact, as long as your food lasts. If you want to live, then this book might be of some interest to you. If you want to live that great life, you might want to learn some tools. You might want to find out the meaning of your life, the purpose that you've been put on this planet, because those at the top have potential to massively change this whole experience. You would be the evil, but evil is not bad. Evil just doesn't know what it's doing. Evil is like being a genius. And the problem with being a genius is the fact that you never believe that you're wrong. And as long as you don't believe you're ever wrong, you can never receive new information. So as long as you think you're the smartest guy on the planet, you actually start getting very stupid because you're not receiving any information. So if you want to get really, really smart, the best cure for your illness right now is to receive some information. I'll continue on another